Hey guys, it's me, Kelly. I have an awesome treat for you today. We have TruthSeekah in the house. Oh my gosh, you guys keep requesting him back, and he is so full of knowledge and experience, and you guys just want to keep knowing more and more and more from him. So we have the Q&A app open during this interview if you have any questions. So without further ado, here is TruthSeekah.
Namaste. Peace and blessings, my friend. Thanks for having me back on the show.
Well, thank you. Oh, that's much better than hi. Fantastic. I've got my green drink.
Yes, yes. I've got my brown drink. Got me some coffee. I don't know if you guys can see it. Just a big old cup of joe.
Woohoo. Probably tastes a little better than what I'm drinking, but...
The green drinks are amazing, though. Definitely vouch for those things.
Yes, I don't drink them for the taste. I'll just put it that way.
Really? Mine tastes really good. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, when you follow the recipe, it's just...
Yeah, you're probably putting a lot more in there than I am. So.
Yeah, put a little more ginger in than you're supposed to.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That's why. That's why I do it to myself. So, today we're going to be talking about psychedelics, spirituality, and awakening. And you told me you've been on a trip? You went somewhere?
Yes. Yeah, we we did that, one of the last podcasts where we talked about my first experience with psilocybin mushrooms, and so then I came on your show. I talked about my experience. I've been putting a little bit of it in my music and things like that. And the second time that I did it was in January for my birthday. So we did that. We went into the woods. We got a little cabin spot, a little retreat. Me and a couple guys, and some of us, it was our first time taking it, and some were experienced. But yeah, it was totally different. It wasn't the same as the first time. I thought that I was an expert after doing it one time and coming on your show and coming on other podcasts and things like that, speaking as an expert. And so, yeah, it was amazing. It was totally different from the first time, but we can definitely get into that.
Oh, that is incredible. I've got a question about mushrooms, and you might not know the answer to this, but Felix Martinez, I met up with him, and we went to Deepwood's Apothecary. And while we were there, she's got a special case. It's like you have to be over 18 to even ask me about this stuff. And in there was a syringe with some clear liquid in it and a long needle. And I'm like... Yeah. What, do you inject yourself with that? She's like, no, this is for growing mushrooms. I'm like, what do you mean? I can get those at Kroger. She's like, no, magic mushrooms. Yeah. So what was that in that syringe? Are the mushrooms in that syringe, or? Yeah,
those are spores that actually extracted from the mushrooms, and you basically get a little kit, this little what they call a mushroom grow kit, and you can order them offline, and then you order the spores, which they send you a syringe with the spores in it. You set your kit up, and then you inject the spores into the kit, and you wait just a few weeks and keep everything right, keep the temperature right, and follow the directions. And a lot of times after that, you have mushrooms. And so a lot of times in certain states, the spores aren't illegal in every state, but some states they are illegal to have. But once you get them and the mushrooms do sprout, then it becomes illegal or whatever. But the spores aren't illegal to have.
I was going to ask you. It's like
in certain states. Illegal. Yeah, in certain states. Like I know they're illegal in Georgia, but in Alabama, they're legal. So. Oh,
okay. I need to go to Alabama.
Yeah.
Seriously, I want to try this.
Yes. No, if you need to, you really do.
But I just don't want to live with a lot of other people where people tell me to do, if you know what I mean, called jail. Yeah. So I want to do this very legal.
Yeah, because you want to do them, you need to do them. I'm not, what I'm saying? So you have that desire within you, so they're calling out to you. So definitely do what you got to do to make that happen.
I think why I want to do them is, like, before I died, I think I would have wanted to do them for completely different reasons. I think I wanted to see, like, after I died and came back, is this something similar to dying? That's what I want to, not that it's going to kill me or anything, but you know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to go into mine, and I mean, I felt like I died and was reborn and visited and everything all within a span of a few minutes, and It was intense. We actually did a hero dose this time instead of just eating a
Okay.
few. So
What is a hero dose?
the hero dose is usually 4 to 5 grams. That's what's considered a hero dose, and that's the dose that supposedly sends you into oblivion, that projects you into the midst of outer space by taking that dose. And so that's what we did. After the first time I did it, I only I had like 3 or 4 pretty small ones, and it was enough to give me an experience, and it was the perfect amount that I needed for my first experience. And then so I went into the second one expecting something very similar, and when it something else started to happen, I kind of got a little worried or whatever, because I was prepared for it, and so I was expecting these certain feelings to come. You're real philosophical. It's really this self-examination thing that goes on with like a higher consciousness, and that definitely happened with the first time I did it. And so I was kind of waiting for that, and it got really intense. So like basically we did it, and we set it up as a sacred experience, not as a bunch of guys getting trashed or whatever, mixing alcohol and everything with it. We didn't do anything like that. So we set it up and had this little retreat, went hiking out some trails and things, and we actually did some ohms, some chanting, and some different, sacred chanting that I led everybody in, and some breath work, and really spent some time in reflection, because it is a sacrament. It is something that is a medicine, and it can definitely benefit you if, just like anything else, the intention that you put into it is what you're going to get out of it, So all of us went in with high hopes. So we did the hero dose. It was 2 guys. It was their first time, my second, and there was 2 other guys who were pretty experienced. So we went into it and started to, kind of laugh a little bit, telling jokes, just messing around, and it started kicking in, and we'd look at each other and we're like, I think I feel it. I think I feel it. So it's like, I think I feel something's going on. It's like, yeah, when it happens, you'll know. But we got, started to giggle a little bit, and things began to be funny. Then all of a sudden, it kind of like this, this heaviness kicks in, because it's going to mess with your breathing a little bit. Your breathing's going to be slowed down. It's like a heaviness, but it's nothing scary. Just be prepared for it. And then so it got kind of intense and got kind of serious, and I had to stand up because it was coming on a little bit too strong, and I thought that it was going to be just like my first time. So I get up and I go outside, and it was nighttime whenever we took it. So I went outside at nighttime by myself. It was really cold, and just began to rationalize within myself, like, oh my God, what's going on? Did I eat too much? Like, can I go back at this point? Can I throw this up? Did I eat some that were poisonous? Was there some poisonous ones in there? So all these thoughts begin to come in, and there's like this panic that goes on within. And I'm like, no, get it together. You're fine. Get it together. So I'm outside by myself, and starts to get kind of scary, just thinking like, okay, I've got to ride this thing out, and it's not like last time. And then all of a sudden my vision began to change, and I begin to see, webbing, this webbing, green and red webbing interlaced with everything, and everything had this almost like a fingerprint, like with the fibers and stuff. And I was like, whoa, am I getting sick? Like, is there a way out of this? Like, if I call the cops, can the cops help me? It's like I'm rationalizing all this. Like, oh my God, this isn't what happened the first time. So
now is this your eyes or like in your mind when you say see?
No, no, like all of this I physically seen with my eyes. I didn't close my eyes.
Gosh.
And yeah, it was open eye visuals, and it's usually closed eye visuals. The majority of people we talk to, they're saying they've never experienced anything like we experienced with the open eye visuals. But yeah, this was totally with my eyes open, seeing this webbing come, and I was like, whoa. It's like, this isn't like the last experience, what I was expecting. This is like an Alex Gray painting. This is like the videos I've seen of people on ayahuasca. Like, I didn't, they say mushrooms isn't the same thing, but this was like taking over. This was 2 realities merging as one, even with my eyes being open. I was like, okay, let me just man up, and I'm gonna ride this side. I'm okay. I follow a creator that has my best intentions in mind, my best interest in mind. So I'm gonna trust that spirit, So I got myself together, went in and sat down on the couch, and everybody they're like, whoa, what's going on, man? What's happening? And then so I felt like I was in tune with a consciousness, a benevolent consciousness, that what we call God, or the Elohim, or the creators of this reality. Like, I was in tune with them, and they were getting ready to show me something. So I began to feel it in my spirit, in my subconscious, that I was communing with something that said, "Is this TruthSeekah? Is this the one they call TruthSeekah, who raps about consciousness? You sing about going in and out of trances. You sing about being caught up to the third heavens and revealing the glory of the stars. This is you. This is the right guy. Do we have the right TruthSeekah?"
Oh.
And I was like, "Yeah, it's me." And it got really intense because my music, they kind of was checking me, and like my music was like, "Okay, do you really want to be rapping about this stuff? This is something very sacred, and you can potentially, throw your pearls before swine and speak about these esoteric understandings and these spiritual encounters like they're nothing, and they really are deep." And so I've been into states like this without the use of any chemical, without the use of any medicines or sacraments, just by sacred breathing, prayer, meditation, fasting. And I've literally seen the majority of the things that I'm speaking about in my music. And so they checked me and said, "Okay, we just want to make sure that this is you. This is you that's going on podcasts, going on interviews, sharing this information like you're an expert. And we got some things to show you." And I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit choked up.
I bet they showed you some stuff.
But so we got some things to show you, and so just buckle up. I was like, wow, like this is intense. Like, I'm speaking about this stuff, and I may get some people messed up. Like, I need to be careful because I don't, want to, promote this to anybody who's not ready. Like, you have to be ready for this. And so it began. I was taken to a place that I was told that all the shamans have been to this place. This is the place where all the shamans must pass through. We're going to show you this. And then being sucked into this other realm, in my waking state. And it was like a Alex Gray painting, That's what everything looked like. With you could see energy everywhere. There was things moving. There was lights blinking. There was silhouettes. There was, a lot of stuff going on. And it's really, I'm really going to be doing it a disjustice to try to explain it, but I'm going to try my best. It was beautiful. Like, everything was beautiful. It was made out of love. All love. Perfect love casts out all fear. So there was nothing to be scared of. And it told me that this is the place where all the shamans pass through. This is the rite of passage. And this is something that, those coming from, adolescence into adulthood had to pass through, all the shamans and all the young men, in ancient cultures. And we were actually on the Indian reservation doing this. So there's a lot of energy there anyway. So this is what I'm connecting with. And so seeing that, and then it began to pull me even deeper. Close my eyes, I would open them, and it would be in both realities. Like, it would be intense with my eyes closed, and when I opened up my eyes, there was so much going on as well. So
can I interrupt you just a second? I'm so sorry. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. While you're explaining that, I'm going to go ahead and leave and come right back. I apologize, but
okay.
just keep telling them about that. And
yes,
I apologize. I will be right back.
No, it's all good.
I'll be right back.
As well. So it was a really intense encounter, and began to be confronted with this energy, and like I said, I feel like I died and was reborn all at the same time. Like, all this was going on. Like, I felt like I went to the place where people go when they die. Like, I really felt like I was in that state. And
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened to my. It's everybody. Like, my computers are kind of messing up. When I go to the gym, because we don't watch TV, when I go to the gym, there's lines on everything, and then everybody I've talked to on the phone, their computer's slow. Has that happened to you?
Yeah, the internet's being really tricky these days.
Just tell me. I was like, is it you? No. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to listen to hear everything you said. Okay.
Yeah. All good. What I was just saying that, like I said, I felt like I was taken to a place, the place that we go to when we die. Like I feel like I experienced death. Like, okay, like we have all of these ancient writings and stuff, and I was brought to a place where all the religions are trying to explain, like all the holy books, they're trying to explain this of what we're experiencing right now. And it was scary though. It was scary, but it was humbling. And it's like, I'm gonna eliminate your fear of death. You thought you didn't fear death, but we're gonna take you there, and this is where you go. And it was just complete energy. Like it wasn't even a physical place. Like we think that when we die, we're going to continue these bodies. We're going to return back to energy. Communication and everything is going to be totally different. Like, so we're not, and all the holy books talk about this. The Bible talks about it, and talks about being transformed. And we're not these carnal bodies. And that was the thing. It's like we are spirits having a physical experience. Like we were incarnated here. So even the Bible talks about that, I'm saying, that we don't deal with, the fleshly reality, but it's a spiritual basis. And I've seen all the other guys there as spirits, and that we would connect as spirits rather than in these meat suits. So
I like that meat suit. That's perfect.
Meat suits.
I love it.
So like whenever you take it, it's totally a inward reflection thing. It's an inward reflection thing, and they're going to make you deal with the things that you've been suppressing, if you let them, and if you don't, you're going to have a bad trip. And even dealing with those things you've been suppressing could even, conjure up a bad trip as well, because you're having to face things that you aren't willing to deal with, even as a child, So, a lot of it, man, it was just really. It was life-changing. I'm going to remember it for the rest of my life. It was a rite of passage. And so some of the other guys, we were having the same encounter, and it would come through in waves, just like on the Pink Floyd songs. I can feel it coming through in waves. And so we all were sitting in the living room on the couches, on these groovy retro couches we were sitting on. And I kept looking at my buddy who facilitated everything, and I was looking at him. Even after the first one, I was like, dude, this isn't what I thought. Like, I had no idea. Like, I kept saying over and over, I thought I knew, man. I thought I knew. And then we would be sucked together back into this other reality. Like, it was timed. We were all together. Everyone who took it was together, coming back and forth like a roller coaster ride. So what would happen would be like, we'd be sitting there, and it would be like on a roller coaster ride, and we'd come to, and they would let us catch our breath. Then all of a sudden, you hear it, click, 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 going up the roller coaster. Hang on, guys, here it comes. And we'd all down the roller coaster together, hanging on, and we'd all be blasted together into this other reality. Like, everyone would suck back, and then, like, it was totally crazy. Everyone had their own things that they were dealing with and experiencing, and there was a point, like, you deal with all of the emotions. You're going to be sad, you're going to be happy, you're going to be, remorseful. You're going to deal with everything. And it really takes a toll on that to kind of cleanse you out. It's really what it does. It cleanses you out. And I just began to cry, man, just from seeing all of the beauty and seeing the other side of reality, the true nature of reality, and looking beyond the matrix. I just began to cry. And whenever we would go down one of the trips, I was just back in bliss and just crying, man. And it was just so cleanseful, and it was love. It was total love. It was like this is where you're supposed to be. Like, I got you, and wherever you're at on your walk, is where you're supposed to be. And it was very beautiful. It wasn't scary for me. There were times of that kind of got intense, but you have to know that when those things happen, you can't entertain them. You know what I'm saying? Like the really scary stuff. And so, like, yeah, it got kind of intense or whatever, but it was still beautiful, and it was life changing. And I don't want to leave anything out. I should have took notes and stuff, but I'm putting a lot of this in my music, and so I wanted to okay, the strand that we took is a pretty strong strand called the Golden Teachers. This is what they call. You said
Golden Teachers?
The Golden Teachers, and that's who we came in contact with. And it was kind of funny because after the first experience, I wanted to name one of my songs Golden Teachers, and I told my buddy that. I told my buddy that, and he was like, "That's cool." I was like, "I really like the name of it because it's different." You know, then what is he talking about? You talking about Ascended Masters? So he's like, "Well, but you didn't try the Golden Teachers. So how are you gonna name the song the Golden Teachers?" And I really felt like I should name this song, you know. And so after I did it, they kind of gave me the okay. I'm like, okay, now you can name the song that, you know. And
the rite of passage, as you say.
Yeah. So it was intense for everyone, and I will say that there were people who came, close friends of mine, who were dealing with drug addiction, who were dealing with everything from smoking marijuana every day, all day, drinking every chance that they could. And I'm not talking about recreationally. I'm talking about to go to sleep at night, to feel something in this life, you know. And there's a lot of people watching this who are doing the same thing. And so, and this same person was even smoking crack. They were smoking crack as well. So there's all these crazy drugs, and so they seen it like this altar. Like I've showed them all the videos and all of the research out there that the psilocybin is proven to take the dependency off of these substances. That you can take this sacrament and take this medicine, and people are getting healed. People are coming face to face with death, and you kind of see past the mundane. You see past the facade of reality, like, you know what I'm saying, with the materialism. Like we all get caught up on what we look like, what we're doing in life. None of that matters at this point. So when you come in contact with that consciousness, this benevolent consciousness, especially when that's your intention to make this an altar, so that person left there and to this point has been changed, has not dealt with any of that. And so this is really beautiful. You can go to reset.me, you can go to truthseekah.com, and there's all this research on there that we're trying to put out there to let people understand that this is a medicine, this is a religious sacrament to experience higher planes of existence, very much similar to the sages and seers of old, the prophets of the Bible. I shared a post of a scripture from the book of Corinthians from Apostle Paul, where he talks about he knew a man that was taken up to the third heaven, and it says that the experience was so real that he didn't even know if he took his body with him or his consciousness went there out of his body. And he said he was shown things that it isn't permissible for men to speak of. And I was like, that scripture rings so real, because even though I'm trying to articulate it, I'm doing a huge disservice to even try, to even attempt to. All it was is beauty and love and energy and acceptance, and it was beautiful.
We want to go ahead and have a disclaimer on this, that neither one of us are medical doctors, and we're not licensed to counsel anybody on this or to guide anybody through this. All that this is TruthSeekah's experience, my experience.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Alleged experience.
Alleged experience.
It's allegedly. It's not real. We're just
Yes.
Entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment purposes only. And before you do anything, consult your physician. I have to say that. Do a lot of research, guys, because if it does affect your breathing or other physical issues, and you have a physical issue in the first place, you need to be very careful and do talk to your doctor before you do anything like that. So I just want to make a disclaimer. You were talking about addictions, and this is very, very, very important because, like, when somebody starts drinking too much alcohol, like, they might have a glass of wine occasionally, but suddenly you're finding out that you're drinking a glass of wine a day, and it's not the wine that's the problem. You have got something that you're dealing with, and the wine is basically letting you escape from it or not deal with it or whatever. So this person that went through this experience, which sounds almost like a near-death experience, minus the tunnel, the blue guy. But,
no, there's all that's there too. You're gonna see those guys too.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna do this.
No, trust me.
I want to go back without dying.
You're being sucked down wormholes, man. Like, it's crazy.
That's what the tunnel is a wormhole.
Yes. No, it's all there. It is all there.
That's awesome.
There's beings there too. I mean, there's a higher consciousness that is leading everything. Like, you're in touch with something that is so ancient, something that created all of this. Like it created everything, and then you come to a place where you don't even matter anymore, because you're going to return to that source. It's so overwhelming, because part of us, when we talk about these aspects of heaven and dying, like we want to go to just another world that's kind of like this one, only better. So we want to keep our bodies, we want to keep our families and things like that, but you're going to return to the same energy which you came from. Now, I believe that we're conscious entities in that existence, just like we're conscious entities driving these meat vehicles right now. So, yeah, it's very overwhelming, because a lot of people have this vision of heaven as a place where we're going to these immaculate kingdoms and walking on clouds and we have robes on. And no, you're going to turn into energy. You can look into outer space and see all of these energies flying around that you can see on some telescopes. That's what you're going back to. You're going back to a place very similar to that looks like comets and stardust and all this kind of stuff. But it's beautiful.
Exactly,
it's not
what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful though. It's like that.
Oh
in
gosh,
and of
yes. It is.
itself is
Some
still
of it's hard
beautiful,
to some of it's hard to explain, because you go,
Totally hard.
I don't know how to say that in English. I have no idea how to describe that.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to articulate it in some music and stuff, and then hopefully, take those encounters and I mean, that's kind of my journal in a sense as well. So,
well, the addictions that I was talking about, do you feel like he had a problem? The drugs were not the problem. The drugs caused problems,
Exactly.
but the drugs were not his problem. He had a problem in the first place. Do you think this experience helped him to deal with what was wrong? Therefore, the drugs were no longer necessary.
Yeah, that's totally what it is. I mean, anything that we do, any type of addiction that's what you're gonna deal with. Like, he was addicted to, to substance, addicted to a quick fix, which a lot of us are addicted to, these really quick fixes or whatever. That's when people are addicted to pornography, addicted to crack cocaine, smoking marijuana every day religiously, a shopping addiction, anything that's going to fill that void within you. And that's the whole thing. Like, you don't need that stuff. Even with like the psychedelics, like, there's people who become addicted to that or whatever. But you don't need anything that is on the outside of you, and that's the whole message. And that's what that's what psilocybin is going to connect with you and teach you, that you don't need what they're selling you. You have everything within you, like all the powers within. You don't need, and it cuts all ties. It severs all ties with those substances, with those addictions or whatever, and it gives you a fresh start. It actually regrows brain cells. It's proven. It's called neurogenesis. And so, like, it's an amazing substance, and they're still doing research on it, and there's so much out there that you can look into that like I said, I do a disservice even trying to explain this stuff,
Oh, exactly. Exactly. That is awesome that it regrows brain cells. And I have to tell you this. I've interviewed you several times, and we've talked outside of interviews and all, and you've always been very, very calm and have a very lovely energy that I feel that comes from you. This is different. I'm feeling something. It's like the calmest of calms that I think you've ever been, and there's something, I can't put my finger on it, but your energy is different. It feels like, to me, you feel more at peace and more at ease.
Yeah.
That I just feel that from you.
Yeah. I'm at a different place now since when we first did our first interview, and it does help that I have been burning a bunch of copal today, and this stuff is so strong, man.
Now, what is that? How do you spell that?
Copal resin, COPAL, and that is something that was used by the Mayans and Aztec peoples to induce trance. It's really strong stuff.
Really?
That in itself, you can get it on Amazon, man. Yeah, it's legal. It's it's like sage or whatever as well. Like, you can get it from a lot of the same places. So they would do it for ritual practice and going into meditation, but like, don't burn it just for the hell of it, is what I tell people, because like, it's totally got me in that state. But it's beautiful. Like, it's not like another reality, but it is. Like, you can totally feel it. So
yeah, if companies coming over, don't light up.
In the midst of that, though, like I said, I'm totally in a different place right now. There's so much going on with me spiritually, that you have a big hand in. You have a big hand
Oh,
in on, like, encouraging me with the whole healing thing. My first mushroom experience was dealing with the healing thing, and being called as a healer, and you just encouraging me, you and the other person who is setting up these experiences with me and helping me. It's totally encouraging me to follow my dreams and to make them a reality. And I'm doing that with other people now. And I've been doing healing energy sessions with people because of you putting it out there for me. You helping me. You was a conduit for that. And my music is touching a lot of people. It's a total new place, man, that I'm in, and I'm excited about it, and just enjoy being in the now. And so the message is getting even deeper, with the music, and just helping people. And it's not even about that. It's not even about the music. It's about the healing energy that comes behind it. And so when we talk about even the psilocybin, it's not about the mushrooms, or even seeing the visions. It's about the healing power that comes behind it. That's what it's about. So thank you so much for continuing to have me on, and your fan base is reaching out to me, and your followers, and they accepted me with arms wide open, and some really cool people, some really nice people, and
oh, you're
I
so
want to encourage
sweet.
everybody out
I
there
mean,
to
it's
follow my path.
nothing really. I don't feel like I've done anything that big. This is kind of how I see it. My
Hmm.
role in all of this. We're standing at the top of the mountain. You and I are standing at the top of the mountain, and you're looking down there and going, man, I want to be at the bottom of the mountain over there. And I'm just like, and so I just go, and I just push
Yeah,
you down the mountain. So that's
yeah,
all I do is
that's all we gotta do. We don't.
just
That's
give you
that's
a
all that's
push, and you
required
do
of
the
you.
rest of it.
Yeah, that's all that's required of any of us, what I'm saying, to help somebody. And just the power of words, though, what I'm saying, the power of encouragement. And sometimes people need that pat on the back, or that, like I posted the other day, I was like, what I'm saying, live your truth. And somebody said, okay. And then I was like, well, as if you needed my, as if you needed me, what I'm saying, me to tell you that. But some of us do. Like, some of us, it helps to have someone say, hey, you're doing the right thing, man. Step out there. You're a pioneer. Do it. Encouraging people to become the best person that they can be, and whatever dreams is on the inside of them, to reach deep down, regardless of what people say, regardless of your fears. You only live once. To really reach down, or in Kelly's sense, you live twice. Yeah. But to really reach down, man, and to go into these dream states, to go into a mushroom experience, to go whenever you go to sleep every night, go into that state, pull your dream out of that existence, out of the ether, pull it out, follow the steps, and make it happen. Like, each and every person listening can do this. I don't care who you are and where you came from, you can do that. And they've been doing it since the beginning. And everyone listening to watching this, you all are unique and special, and you all have an amazing story that the world needs to hear, and you can help people. And so every place that you're going through, even if it's scary, if you don't know why this happened to you, just understand that there was a lesson in it, and that you're going to be used to help other people as well cope with their problems and become the best person that they can be. And so I understand that, and I understand that every place that I've been was divinely instructed by this higher intelligence who's been there since the beginning. They're going to be here after we're gone. We only get so many, years on this earth or whatever. So they're going to be here way after we're gone. So we need to use this energy and learn to love and learn to walk in forgiveness, so that we can pass these tests and we can ascend with them. So that's why we're here. We're here to learn. We're here to help people and encourage people. So that's
And
my message, and I think everyone else can embrace that, man, and run with it.
yeah, I encourage people to come together, because this is not like, oh, I know so much more than you. It's like,
Hmm.
my husband had a medical situation this last week. A lot of you know about. And during that situation, I became very tense. And I know I needed to calm down and relax, but somebody reminded me, Kelly, you need to calm down. So it's
Hmm.
not that I didn't know. You just get in a place where you need reminding. That's very good. Jacqueline writes, love to you, Kelly and Derek. Yep. You two have been pushing us, and I'm stumbling forward. Thank you for the love and encouragement as we push them down the mountain.
Yeah.
Aw, so you have been a big part of them, and that's why you keep coming on. Is you have been a huge huge
Yes.
part of their spiritual awakening. There's a question here. Now, this is a fabulous question because we've got two scenarios.
Okay.
Kelli didn't expect to die. This was kind of unexpected. I wasn't prepared for it, and boom, I had this awakening, if you will, and I've got all this knowledge, and all of this happened, and then I came back, and now I have to deal with this planet, and I was mad for 2 years, and you know the rest of the story. You did this on purpose, and you prepared yourself, and you did it on purpose. So this person's question: hello, guys. How do you deal with this understanding after your spiritual awakening, where everything seems so weird, and you see how things are so messed up, but no one seems, I relate to this, but nobody seems to understand what you're talking about. It's so frustrating and lonely.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say hello to Jacqueline. It's my new friend. So thanks for watching. But yeah, this is the existence, because there was a guy there, a really close friend of mine, who has never had any type of medicine or drug. He's never smoked pot. He's never, like, anything he's done, he's, drunk some alcohol on the weekends or something. And so he went into this not knowing anything to expect. And so I'm trained. I'm doing hours of research. I know where to go in my mind mentally. I've seen some demonic entities in real life. I've seen them in the spirit realm. I know how to deal, So I was prepared for this. And then so somebody like him, who had an amazing experience with this, and going on this, this roller coaster, and shown the secrets of heaven, the secrets of the universe. It was beautiful. But it came to a point where it got intense for him, and he's like, you know what? I want to go back. I wish I never would have done this. And that's where things changed. He's like, okay, I'm ready for it to be done. It's like, man, just hang on. He's like, I want to go back to my family. I want to go back to this place or whatever. Like, I want to go back. And that's what he just kept saying. I'm done. I want to go back to reality. And it got kind of intense. I immediately came out of my state to really spend time with him and let him know that everything was okay. Yeah. And he was scared, and then he had to come to this understanding of, he had come to understand like that he was going to be in this place forever. Like he was in this place of like he died, and then he was going to be reincarnated as something else. That he was just this place of purgatory, which I've heard other people talk about. They're in this place. So he went to that place, and he knew that he crossed the threshold, that he couldn't go back to life as normal, So it was very scary for him, but we let him through it, and then, hours passed, and he calmed down a lot, and some things changed and stuff, and then we were able to have conversation with him, and even when he was like okay with everything, he was cool. It was kind of funny, but he was saying like, oh yeah, I'm fine, man. But am I going to remember all you guys whenever I reincarnate? Like he had accepted that to be his lot, and like he was almost like we were out of it. Like we had come out of the experience. He was still there, He's like, oh, I'm fine now. I understand. And will I see you guys again? And it's like, wow. So to take that and then go back into the real world and hold down a job. Okay, this is why I believe that these psychedelics are illegal, is because of this, that they're gonna let you
don't want to go back to work after that, because you know what's going on.
No way. Most of us didn't want to go to work to begin with, and then after this, you're like, hold on, man, I got to make some changes. I don't want to give 40 years of my life to this company where I'm driving a forklift or being a pizza guy or whatever the case is. Like, you want to live your dreams, and this psilocybin is totally a conduit that's going to help you do that. It's going to encourage you to do that, to follow your dreams. And that's it's the same thing with a lot of these different psychedelic medicines or whatever, the ayahuasca, the wachuma, the iboga. You're coming back with very similar stories of people like, okay, enough of the bullshit, I've got work to do, and I'm not gonna settle for that, I'm saying, for second best. And I encourage everyone, even if you don't have a an experience like that. You know what I'm saying? To don't settle for second best, and just whatever you want to do, whatever your dreams are, to pursue those dreams. You know, and that's what it really encourages you. So you would see why they would want, you know, consumers and useless eaters, and they want us to be drawn to the shiny things in this life, and they want us to buy and consume and to work and to, be in debt and stuff like that, like, because we are the blood for their corporations. But psychedelics is totally the opposite of that. It empowers you to really be yourself, and so that's why they're making it illegal, I believe. That's why they're cutting down the rainforest, and that's why if you get caught with something that grows naturally out of cow dung, or some marijuana that's grown naturally, it's illegal. But there's a lot of push for all of this stuff to be legal in the very near future, and obviously we see that with the marijuana and psychedelics in some places as well. But yeah, so that's why I believe that that's going on, and it is hard to transition. But being a spiritual person, you have a burden on your heart anyway. You have even the prophets and sages of old, they always carried what is called in the Bible the burden of the Lord for the people, like the people who are just caught up with whether it's religion or their sin or their addiction, like they was in there, and you get a burden for these people. So it comes with the territory. You have a burden to see people free. You have a burden to see people achieve their full potential. And you're going to be doing a disservice to if you don't, reach out to them and try to be, use your energy and your life source to kind of, help them reach their full potential as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like people can talk to you all day long, but once you know, you cannot unknow. And it does change your life forever.
Yes. Yeah. Well, see, that's the whole thing I like to put as far as like people have faith in God and they have faith in Jesus and faith in all these things, and like that's good. And there was a point where I had faith in those things too. Like I don't have faith in God anymore. I don't have faith in the church anymore. The reason I don't have faith in God because faith and knowing are two different things. I don't have to believe in the unseen. That's what faith is. To have this belief in something that you cannot see. It's different once you know this. Like I believe I know God now. Like I've experienced this energy. I'm in tune with this higher consciousness. So I don't have faith. I don't have to take somebody else's word for some kind of existence and some kind of higher power. I'm in tune with something greater than myself. So you don't have to convince me. Like I don't have faith. It's not like it might not be true. No, there's something that I'm in tune with, and a lot of other people are in tune with as well. We have different titles and names and things for that, and most of that's just dogma, and it really doesn't matter. But there's something out there, and psychedelics and meditation and prayer totally get you in tune with that.
Yeah, along those same lines, when I guess it's going on 5 years now since I died, and then I talked to my family about it. They refer to it as I had a different belief system now. And I'm trying to tell them, no, I have a knowledge base. This is different than a belief. I haven't switched from Christianity to being a Buddhist, switching belief systems. I know now. I woke up and I know what's going on. And they have the ones that are in these systems don't have a category or even a box to put you in when you have a knowledge base. Does that make sense? They need you to be in a box because they get upset. It upsets them if you're not in a box.
And that's what we're dealing with. It's just been on my spirit, is that this intelligence wants you to throw away the boxes, and it leaves people dumbfounded because I get them more than once a week. Somebody hit me up on YouTube or Facebook and hey, I really like you. Are you a Christian or are you a New Ager? And then
put yourself in a box for me because I'll
respond 2 ways. I'll respond 2 ways. The first way I'll respond is I'll just say neither. I'm neither. And then what are you? Or I'll respond and simply say, I'm whatever you need me to be. Like, what do you need me to be for you? And that's what I am, And that's exactly what I am. I'm none of that stuff. I do not fit in your box. I won't fit in your box. And so it makes people
uncomfortable.
It makes people, and it makes people comfortable to put you in a box to say, oh, he's this. Oh, she's that. Oh, I heard about those New Agers. Oh, I heard about those mystics, or whatever the case is. I've heard about those guys. My pastor told me about those mystics and New Agers. I'm none of that. I'm none of what your pastor's talking about. You know what I'm saying? I'm none of anything. And it's a quote by Marilyn Manson, and I love this quote. He said in a song, he said, "I'm a million different things, but not one that you know." It's like, man, you know, that's so true. I'm so much stuff. Am I a Christian? Well, there's some aspects of Christianity that I love. It's beautiful, applies to me. There's some, you know, if there is a New Age religion, I don't really know, but if there is one, there's a lot of New Age stuff that is very ancient to me that, you know, rings true with me. There's a lot of paganry and things like that, but people need to understand. But that's all that these religions are anyway. Even your Christianity and even the Hebrews will go deeper than Christianity, because they'll say, yeah, Christianity is paganry mixed together. What about the Hebrews? Go back to the Hebrew festivals and feasts and their religion. Well, the Hebrew religions were stolen from the other religions as well. The Hebrews were you know what I'm saying, stolen from the Chaldeans, from the Persians, from the Egyptians. And if you look at the architecture, you look at the symbols, you look at the practices, the words and the language, they're just a melting pot of it all. So there's nothing new under the sun. You own no stake in any of this. You are just a human passing through. And for us to go and feel like we have all the answers, I can tell you, you've never done psychedelics, because that's what they deal with. It's like, you know what, I thought I knew. And religion is trying to explain this. And so that's really what we're dealing with, you know. And then so because none of that matters. If it mattered, then I would pick one and stay true to it, but there's so much contradictions in every single one of them, and there's really no need for all of that, you know. And then so, you know, you challenge people too. You just become an example for people to kind of embrace the same thing. And I like literally had this, you know what I'm saying, downloaded to me last week, and I've got this big list. I'm going to do a video teaching on it about, you know, transcending the labels, and I've got all of this stuff that just came to me. So it's, you know what I'm saying, very synchronistic that you actually brought that up.
I have been kind of, you know how you have alone time and you just kind of really think about stuff. I was thinking about a situation where it's like, what are you? Are you a teacher? And it's like, no, I'm not a teacher, and you're not even a musician. We are eternal spirit in meat suits. I'm going to use your terminology. I'm eternal spirit in a meat suit playing the role of a teacher. Mm-hmm. I think that's a little bit more accurate. And then you go to the Bible, where it's like, I am the great I am. And it's like, well, what are you? And it's just like, well, I am.
Yes. That's beautiful, man. That's really beautiful. People don't want to acknowledge that, even though, like, even the people who will acknowledge it, and they say, well, you know what? God told Moses his name was I am that I am, and that means he just is, you know. But translated,
I forgot about that. That it is true. It makes sense.
But it goes even deeper. It's like, I am that I am, and I will be whatsoever I will be. So how are you going to put him in a box and say that God hasn't revealed himself through these, you know what I'm saying, to these other people? Well, because he said it right here that he wouldn't. Well, he just told this guy that he is that, he said, I am that I am, and I will be whatsoever I will be. So who are you to say what I am, you know? And that's so true, because they're like, I deal with Christians and they say, well, you know, they talk about Jesus or whatever. It's like, well, you know, his name isn't Jesus. Well, the word Jesus means Savior. Well, yeah, his name was Yeshua. Well, Yeshua means Savior. And so, well, it's not about his name. You can call him whatever you want. I was like, okay, but what about those who call him Amen? What about those who call him Krishna? You know what I'm saying? Like, what about those people? Well, you can't call him those names, but you can call him anything. You know, so, you know, it's really a lot deeper than we make it out to be. You know, it really transcends the labels, and so there's no need to try to even compartmentalize it, because in the end, you're going to do yourself a disservice to try to feel like you have it all figured out. I mean, that's what truth seekers do anyway. Like, this is what we're all doing. I'm just on this path and this journey that everybody else who's infatuated with my music and you know, the stuff that I put out there. You know, we're all on the same journey together, and we're resonating with everyone. So, you know, just sharing that knowledge and sharing that wisdom is coming back down off of this path and simply saying, look, I went up this road, and there's some stuff to learn there, but be careful. There's a lot of, you know, you don't get too attached, because it's simply just a test. You can go there and learn things, but be careful. Don't become dogmatic. Don't be given to the system, you know. And I've lost a lot of friends because of that. People going into different sects and religions and creeds or whatever, who they're told to, you know, stay away from certain people or whatever the case is, you know. So there's a lot of people like that, and people are dealing with the same stuff. So.
We've got someone over here with a statement, and I'm not saying this statement is necessarily false, because everybody has their own experience. I want to know your opinion of the statement that they said, because I can't answer this. Only you can, the two of us. Teach me how to say that word.
Psychedelics?
No, psilocybin. Psilocybin. Thank you. Psilocybin. Okay, correct. Psilocybin is an awesome gift from God. However, they do not show you the secrets of the universe or the mysteries of heaven. They leave you with a profound sense of wonder and a fresh perspective of the grandeur of life. That's probably that person's experience. Okay, what was your experience? Does it equal that?
No, it was, well, he said that they do not show you the secrets of heaven. They don't show you, like, just being able to see behind the veil and seeing how everything works. And it's funny because the things that he's mentioning, this profound grandeur of life, is the secrets of heaven. It's bliss. It is total bliss, and experiencing that. Now, you're not going to know how all these angels operate and perform and what they do and its nature, spirits. You're not going to get all of that out of a psilocybin trip, out of just eating mushrooms and knowing the secrets of the universe. No, there's a lot more that comes to it, but you're going to get a glimpse. There's angels there. There's elves there. There's nature spirits there. There's everything's there. A buddy of mine met a woman on the trip whenever he went off, and he said he met a woman by the name of Kristalla, and he began to research the word, and it's got some profound meaning to it, and this is like some type of guardian of this galaxy, and no, you're not going to know the nature of creation, but you will, because the nature of it is all love. It is all bliss. It is to learn love, to be love, to show love in the midst of darkness, to be there for people in the midst of tragedy. So no, you're not going to eat mushrooms and know everything about the secrets of heaven and be this illuminated being. You're going to know some, though. They're going to show you things about yourself. And so even with that statement, though, like, to understand that as above, so below, on earth as it is in heaven, like, for you to understand the secrets of heaven, you have to go within, because heaven is a mirror image of what is inside of you. So if you want to learn the secrets of heaven, mushrooms can totally help. But you got to get quiet. You have to go within. You have to learn about yourself, because you're made in the very image and essence of God. You are one with that, and it's a mirror image of you. Even in the Bible, where it talks about these different temples and things like that, those are temples and maps of your body, all of it. We're all just a mirror image of these celestial abodes. And so, yeah, you just got to look within, and that's where you'll find everything, so.
Yeah, because when the within that you have pops out when you die. So when you're in these meat suits, I love that word, meat suit. When you're in these meat suits, you do have to look within. When you're out of these meat suits, you're just there. It's just you. Fear. This is a very interesting one. I'm seeing a similarity to a near-death experience of what you did, but when I died and came back, I had no fear, to the point of scaring the crap out of some of the police that I was working with, and the stuff that I did, that they were like, I won't even go woods after a criminal. And I was just like, why did you stop, and so I had no fear. Is that a side effect that you experienced with the mushrooms?
Well, going into that, you're going to have a fear, because there was this really strong sense of fear at the beginning, like I was saying, because I expected it to have a certain effect on me. I expected it to come on just like the last time I did it, that I would just be eased into it. I can touch the water and just kind of ease into it, and that I wouldn't see visuals like I would see the visuals when I can close my eyes and see triangles and glitter and diamonds and these sacred, geometry and stuff like I did the first time. I really had a lot of control over it the first time. But this hero dose, it scared me, because, like I said at the beginning, it seemed like an ayahuasca video, like these people, showing these videos of what happens on ayahuasca, and I wasn't expecting that. So for me, like, it was like a lot of fear, because I was trying to hold on, like, nope, stay in your right mind, you're okay, we're gonna have fun, and then all of a sudden, sucked into this place, and I'm trying to fight it. No, shake it off of me. And then I was like, you know what? This is what it is, because I didn't know that's what it was. It's like, you know what, I'm fighting it. I'm going to give myself to this. I'm going to give myself to the power. And then when I finally let it consume me, man, and that's when it began. But yeah, there was just this fear that goes there. So there's a fear because obviously it's different. You know, it's change. You know, you don't know what to expect. But once you get in there, like I said, perfect love casts out all fear. And then so there's no fear in that place. Now you're gonna have to deal with the different aspects of yourself or whatever that are very fearful. You know, can be scary. Whether you have an addiction, you know, and dealing with that can be scary, and the different trauma that you have to bring up to actually find healing for. So, in that sense, but fear is not a bad thing in that sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it's beautiful. You know, there's a beauty in it, but it can be scary. But it's not a bad thing.
We've got, hey Kelly, what up, TruthSeekah?
What up?
Did I say that right? What up?
Yeah. What up?
I'm so Texas. I have a hard time doing slang. I'm so glad I can catch these awesome Q&As. Will you guys do another Q&A session about music?
Probably be the next one that we do. My album should be out about then. We've been doing these every month, once a month, so hopefully I can grit down and have this release out, and we'll come on and do a track-by-track analysis or something like that, man, because there's a lot more, to share with that too, so definitely.
Oh, that is fantastic. We've got another one. This is, I don't want to call it off topic, but this is just along a little bit different lines. Hey, you both. Hey. Is it wrong? What is wrong, really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it wrong to be, how would you say, individual? I often hear this concept that we are one, etc., etc. That makes me think that we humans have to be one community. It makes me kind of sad because I've always been kind of a loner, but happy.
Mm-hmm. It's all the above. Like with there are aspects of us that like to be alone, and we need to be alone. Then there's aspects that we need to be around community and very tribal people. That's what we were since the beginning. So all of these aspects are healthy and are good. I told a friend of mine the other day, who I was really close to, who is becoming more of a hermit. He's just spending a lot of time with his family and has differing views and beliefs of the majority of people he runs into, and he gets into conflict with them and stuff like that. And he's like, well, I'm becoming a recluse, I'm becoming a hermit, and I'm just fine dealing with my family. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I wrote him back. It's like, dude, don't do that, because you have such a amazing personality. It would be a tragedy and a travesty for you to keep that to yourself. So and I say that to everybody, what I'm saying? Like, there's people who need you out there. So it's not good to be alone all the time. Like, there's people that you can connect with and learn new things, and they can learn from you. So definitely surround yourself with people, because, we all are connected. I think spirituality teaches us that every person in existence is a extension of ourselves. So, and a lot of times when we get into dialogue and conflict with people and they make us upset, a lot of times they're just bringing something out of us, and we see something in them that we don't like about ourselves.
Uh-huh.
And once you understand that, you understand that there's no glory in winning a debate. There's no glory in making someone feel less of a person for you. There's no glory or need to expose people and make people feel bad, because in essence, like, we're doing that because we feel a certain way about ourselves. And when we talk about people and stuff like that, the reason we put them down or expose them is so that we may win the hearts of the people we're talking to. That if I can put Kelly down, then people may come to me a little bit more. They may come closer to me and be my friend or understand me. So understanding that is the way that we're created and a part of our psyches. Like, then we know how to respond to people, and there's no need for all the foolishness anymore.
Now, this is
going
to be
the question too.
I think you did. Yeah. No, this is going to be a misquote, so I'm sorry I didn't have time to look it up on my other slow computer today. But it is better to be kind than right.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about, and you have to learn. That's a lesson. You're not born with that. You have to learn that. Because I was keeping tally on the debates I was winning, So
yeah,
and
when I
that's
was
what
a
a lot of
Christian,
us
I
do.
was.
Yeah,
I was
me
like,
too.
I
Yeah,
am right, you're wrong. How many people can
exactly.
I get on my side? But
Yeah,
then now, after you die and come back, you go, it doesn't matter. We all kind of get spit out the same tube, and
yeah, yeah.
when we die. So
Hmm.
why do I have to win an argument? That just puts stress on other people's lives.
Yeah.
It's like I believe in unicorns and
Hmm.
dragons marry each other, whatever. I'm
Hmm.
like, fantastic. I'm glad that makes you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
my attitude.
No, that's the perfect attitude to have, and that's just like I said, exactly what I'm talking about. But you have to learn that because we have nothing to prove. I don't have nothing to prove to you, and but see, a lot of us are still in that state where we do have something to prove. We want to be accepted. We want to be loved. So we want to win you over to our ideology and our belief system and things like that. And we feel like if you're a Christian or a Muslim or whatever, it's like sometimes you feel like God smiles upon you for winning them. You know what I'm saying? For showing them the error of their ways. You know what I'm saying? And and yeah, this is there's no rest in that. There's no way to rest in that. There's no peace in that. There's like a lot of turmoil and fighting and disagreeing, and that's where I come from. I come from that. So there's no peace there. So I would suggest just to go to where the peace is, and it's totally not in that. Now you can share with people, but don't force anything on anybody.
Now, this is along the lines of spirituality,
Hmm.
and I mentioned this in, I think it was actually a private video to my little spiritual family when I was doing this. But in my experience, what has your experience been in this? As far as being on YouTube, comments, and out in life, and people talking to me, I would say 99% of the ones who are mean to me and try to make my life miserable or stress me out in some way are actually Christians. And then when I was talking to my husband the other day, I sat there and I went, okay, what are the other religions beat me up like that? And I'm like, I couldn't think of any. And
Yeah.
and then he's like, well, what about the Muslims? And I'm like, I don't remember that any. I mean, if
Yeah.
somebody called me a name, they never told me they were a Muslim, but I don't have Muslims bashing on me. Why is that? Why do Muslims just let me be? And
Yeah.
and it's okay. I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I deal with the same things, and I don't get a lot. I mean, I got a lot of the Christians coming at me when I first started introducing a lot of this material and music. But they didn't stick around a lot. But I did go through that, and that took me to a weird place as well. But yeah, it's true. But I will tell you, like, I read a nasty comment yesterday or today, rather this morning, from a new ager or something like that who was like had sacred geometry all over their stuff, and was making fun of the way I talk. I'm supposed to be this, and I've told you in the past that I'm kind of self-conscious about the way that I talk, trying to be spiritual, intelligent, enlightening, and I talk, like I'm from the ghetto or something. I mean, like I said, it actually helps when I rap. Like I have that rap voice, but when I want to speak, I stutter a lot and stuff too. So,
Well,
yeah.
so do I. So
Well, I
so so
mean,
so so, so, so do I. Just kidding.
yeah, but no, it is a lot of Christians, man, because they're real abrasive and like they feel like they have something to prove. But just know this: the majority of those people, like internet stuff, that's just a facade. Like you can be whoever you want to be on the internet, and those people would never say those things or type those things to you in person, face to face. There's just a lot of keyboard cowards who, and I can't address that. Like I can't address gossip and rumor unless somebody brings it to me. I've heard everything about me, that I was a devil worshiper and leading people astray and all this crazy stuff. But like I've never had someone come to me in my face and bring this up. So that's all you can deal with. You can't deal with speculation. That crap is demonic. It'll have you going crazy, worrying about the opinions of others. Just be comfortable in yourself, man, and be okay. Once you love yourself, and you don't have to be loved by people. You don't have to let that dictate the way that you feel about yourself, and you will, unless you begin to love yourself and be okay within your own skin.
Oh, that is true. We've got Kathleen. Does it feel as this is your assignment on planet Earth? There's progress. Is there progress in your assignment?
Hmm.
Thanks for sharing your experience and thoughts.
Yes, totally. But see, the thing is, like, your assignment, like every place that you've been has been your assignment. My assignment was to be in Christianity and to debate people and learn and make relationships and make friends. Like, that was my assignment too. Like, that was part of it. So everything that I've been through and every place that you've been through as well has been a part of your assignment. So sometimes the next level of that assignment may be a little bit harder, and you may have to step out in faith and walk on water and and believe for what I'm saying, miracles and things that happen in order for that to come to pass. And you may have to reach down deep to make it happen. It doesn't come easy, but every place that we go is totally ordained and is part of our assignment. So it's all for the greater good. But when you're in the limelight a little bit more or whatever, you seem to be a little bit more relevant than the next person. But we're not. Whether we're doing this interview or not, like, we interact with people on a daily basis, and I think our main assignment, like I said, is just to love everybody regardless of, what they're dealing with or what they said about you or something like that. So love is everyone's assignment, to love,
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, love is one of the most difficult things to do on this planet. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
So if you can learn to love on this planet, you can do anything. It's like if you can make it on Broadway or in New York, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. That's kind of the same deal. Back to the psychedelics. If a person is heavily addicted to psychedelics, could the medicine offer a bad trip to help the person understand they have a little bit of spelling error here. Understand that they have taken it out of hand?
Yes.
Did I say that right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, totally. There's people who had those journeys as well, where they'll go on. Even Aubrey Marcus, I really look up to him and listen to a lot of his stuff and his writings. Warrior poet. Same way, he's did ayahuasca, and they one of the last times he's done it, like he's like a not habitual, but he does it quite frequently. And one of his last times he talks about on his podcast where they told him, like, okay, this is it. You've learned everything that you need to learn. And that's kind of what it is too. Like, it's not to be an addictive substance, even though it is addictive. Like, we want to keep entering that realm and learning everything we can. I mean,
yeah, it's like I want to keep dying over and over, but that's probably not the healthiest thing for me to do.
Like, so you have to just take the information and apply it to your life and do what you're supposed to do with it. Like, I still have stuff from my first experience that I'm still working out, and all of it's a part of it. So, look at it as something holy, something sacred, not something to be taken lightly. And, so definitely, like, if you're taking it too much, totally.
Yeah, anything too much, like broccoli, can be harmful. Most definitely.
Yeah, or shopping, anything like that.
Yeah, you have to force me to shop. I hate shopping.
Everything in moderation. You know what I'm saying? So I'll try anything once now.
We've got a cool question here. Hey, Kelli and TruthSeekah, do you ever get visions which show people in weird situations or normal but completely different from reality? How can you interpret them? I also get visions but don't really know what they mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the dream state in this vision state or whatever, like we do get a lot of information on people, what they're dealing with. And so, like, a lot of times when you see someone going through something like that, whether it's in a dream or in just an open vision, like, you can send good vibrations their way, begin to pray for them, intercede for them, because a lot of times it's kind of like the spirit showing you that they're getting ready to go down something really deep or something really traumatic. And it's usually spoken through signs and symbols. It's usually not an open vision, like you've seen someone get in a car crash in your dream, and then you take it literal, like they're about to get in a car crash, so you intercede. It's usually not like that. Like, the car crash is usually symbolic, and maybe they had a lot of people in the car with them, and then you seen someone in the back seat who is a bad person, and that person was going to influence them to do something bad or do something wrong. So you begin to intercede or maybe even talk to the person, and you don't have to even tell them the dream, because that usually messes everything up. You don't even tell them that, hey, I had a dream about you. You got in a car crash with this guy. Be careful. Usually you just kind of you know what I'm saying, get in there and say those words, speak those positive affirmations over them and show them that you care, type stuff like that. And it's always, you always get a piece of it, because the whole seeking thing is the whole journey itself. It's like almost like the spirit saying, like, will you seek me for the answer? Will you seek me for the revelation of it? And so that's why the book of Revelations is not literal. That's why the Bible is not literal. Like, you have to really go in and get the meanings from that. And when you look at the stories like Joseph in the Old Testament, whenever he had the dream that he was exalted over all of his brothers, and he began to see all of his brothers like, I believe it was like wheat stalks, and they all like these huge wheat stalks, and there was all these visions, and they began to bow to him and stuff. All these wheat stalks bowed to him, and so the dream wasn't about these 70-foot wheat stalks that grew in the air and they're gonna bow, and we need to wait because these 70-foot wheat stalks are gonna feed our land or whatever. No, it was symbolic, and it's always been like that. It's all signs and symbols, and so you have to see what they mean in your life. All of this is it's all symbolic, whether you have a dream about snakes or lions or alligators or tornadoes. Like, all of this stuff is stuff that I've dreamed about when I have like secret sins or secret things that I'm trying to hide from God, or try to hide from my family or whatever. Like, these things will, like, I have nightmares about these things, and they will come to me in the form of a natural disaster usually, or an alligator or a snake biting me or something. But it doesn't always have to be negative in that sense. Like, you could be getting by wisdom. Snakes represent wisdom as well, so it's all about the situation, your interpretation, and what you're going through to get the meaning of that dream. And I also offer dream interpretation as well on my website, so if anybody needs any help with that, I'm definitely gifted in that area.
I have a question about that. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to name any names at all. This is somebody I know. They were in the hospital, and when they were in the hospital, they had a major procedure done. After the major procedure, then they had, tubes, and they were hooked up to 20-something things. It was that major, and they were gradually unplugging everything as this person got better and better and better. But there was one point where they were conscious. They still had the tube down there, but they were able to write what was going on. And this person, because when you said that dreaming about alligators meant this, it fit the situation perfectly. But they were dreaming that alligators were trying to eat them and bite them, and they were actually wrestling the alligators. And they wrote this. It's like they wrote this big long paragraph about wrestling the alligator. And what does that mean again?
Yeah, most likely in your situation, that alligator, represents that sickness that person's dealing with, that infirmity.
It was in the heart area.
That's what that was.
Okay, so it was not, because when you said something like there was sin or something, that because this person is a little, what's a nice word to use?
Yeah.
They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk.
Yeah, it would represent that battle that they're going with. They have to wrestle. They have to have this battle with this infirmity, with this thing that's trying to hurt them. So when you say that, the first impression I get that it's that infirmity that they're dealing with, and it's just them symbolically fighting with it and having to deal with it. And sometimes they're winning, and sometimes the infirmity is winning. And it's just questions and fear and all this going along. And it's embodied in that alligator.
And I think that this person's heart issue ultimately was caused by unforgiveness. They have a lack of anybody. They don't forgive anybody of anything. This person.
It's all tied in together like that. Yeah, obviously, not every time, so don't quote me at it, but a lot of times when there are these different ailments that come up in our bodies, it's because of things that we brought upon ourselves and things that we do, and that we can change them. And unforgiveness is huge. It's like fighting an alligator, literally, So yeah, definitely. But that's 101. Like, you have to, in order to be healed, you have to heal. You have to, forgive people. And even Jesus said that in the scriptures. He's like, you want to be forgiven? You want my forgiveness? Then you have to forgive everyone else too. And it's like, oh, okay. So I can't harbor unforgiveness. I can't harbor, I can't have resentment and tell everybody, gossip and things like that, so. Yep.
It's like, darn it, what's going to be fun on this planet? Just joking. This is what I had to actually type over here and look it up because there were some misspellings in this to see what exactly they were talking about. But I think this is the best interpretation of their question because there's a lot of the misspellings. I think they meant, do you ever go into the causal plane?
Astral plane.
Okay. Now, when I looked up causal plane.
Okay.
It is because I was like, I've never heard of this before. What Wikipedia says is a term used in neo-theosophy, some contemporary Vedanta, and I'm mispronouncing everything. The New Age, especially some channeled communications, and sometimes occultism to describe a high spiritual plane of existence. If, for example, the hyperplane, which even the physical is. Okay, this is Wikipedia. This is crap. Yeah. Okay. However, there is great variation between the different definitions. Obviously.
Well, yeah, I've never heard that term. I've never heard that term, but by that definition, if that's what they mean, yes, that's a perfect term. I mean, perfect term. Even, what I'm saying, better than astral plane. Like, yeah, that sounds about right. Like the state that is just beyond our subconscious that we enter into, and that's where we see the visions and we see the dreams and we can see open-eyed visuals without any type of hallucinogen, and that's the spirit realm that we're able to see. And some people, which we can call them shamans, we can call them psychics, whatever you want, like we're able to see into that realm just a little bit. And even when you're grocery shopping, so it's like sometimes the veil is a lot thinner for other people, and then so you see people and you look at somebody and so it happens so much. Like I said, you see snakes around people's feet, you'll see a demon on somebody's shoulders, like, all kind of stuff like that. Like, it's not there physically, but in the spirit, you can see that. So you go into that state. So definitely, I've never heard it called that, but I'm definitely going to look into it by that time.
Like I said, I had to look it up. I was like, what the heck is going on? And I'm not sure how familiar you are with all of these names. What are your thoughts on David Wilcock, J. Essex, and others like them?
Yeah, David Wilcock. I guess I got to tread lightly because some of your viewers, like I know, the last time I made a David Wilcock reference on your show, some dude comment. He's like, I had to turn it off when he said David Wilcock. I had to turn it off. But I'm a huge David Wilcock fan. I love David Wilcock. I don't subscribe to all of anybody's work. Even my stuff, I'm like, why did I say that? So I don't subscribe to all of anybody's work. Everybody is human. We all make errors and things like that, and we all see in part and we all know in part, and it's in the Bible. So I love David Wilcock. I don't know about the other J. Essex. I don't know who that is, but David Wilcock, a good place to start. I tell everybody this. One of the places I started was a documentary called 2012 Enigma by David Wilcock. And it's a good place to start with your awakening and watching documentaries and things like that.
Mm-hmm. They're coming up with some good questions here. Have you heard of the term glitches in the system? What are your thoughts on that? Also, deja vu. Any thoughts on that? Like glitches, because I've experienced glitches. Yeah. What is your best explanation of? I don't know how to put it into words.
I'll try. So yeah, I would see that as what we would call synchronicity. When you see something over and over, it's like, I hate, like even in the movie The Matrix, they see the black cat and it's like in repeat and you see it again. So in a sense, I see synchronicity like that. When you see these reoccurring themes over and over that you would most likely never see back to back, and you see it over and over, and it doesn't mean anything to anyone else, but you've seen it, and it's not going to mean anything to anyone. So it's almost like the universe or God letting you know, hey, you're on the right path. And every time you see that, pay attention to the information coming through, whether what you're looking at, what someone just told you, or the term and phrase in itself. Sometimes it's totally off the wall, but just pay attention. And it's almost like the universe dropping breadcrumbs saying, follow me, you're on the right path, keep following. And so follow those synchronicities. When you have a dream about something and then somebody says it in the waking state, definitely follow those terms and phrases. And that's what 333, my new album, it's about synchronicity and seeing those numbers, 1111, 333, 444. So
Now, some of the glitches that there's lots of glitches, but one in particular that is kind of getting me. When I read about something, it was like, I think that's what's going on. I couldn't figure out exactly what was going on, but there would be like people that it was like, wait a minute, I thought that they were still alive and they died 15 years ago. Wait a minute, I could have sworn they were still alive. It's, things like that where information has changed, and you're like, and it's not your memory. So when I started studying, I won't get into depth about what I studied, but basically there are entities obviously more advanced than us that are manipulating time. Like they will go back into time and change things in order to keep us under control and all of that. I think part of the glitches that I'm sensing are this, because they're not perfect. When they come back and they come back in time and change things, some people who are awake notice that they have changed something going back in time. What is your experience or research on that topic?
Yeah, I don't have a lot. I will say that the whole psilocybin experience is dealing with time as well, because you go to this place where time doesn't matter, and so do not watch your clock or your watch or anything. Throw that out the window, because it's really going to trip you out, because it'll feel like a lifetime has passed or years have passed and it's only been 10 minutes. And so within that span, they kind of show you that time isn't even real. Like there is no time, there is no tomorrow. And if we live in the now, we stay in the now, then we will never die. We'll never, there will never be tomorrow. There is no past. It's only right now. And then so that's why we have people like Eckhart Tolle telling you the importance of being in the now and just focusing your intention on the now. And in that moment, that's the only moment that we have. And it's so beautiful and stuff. You see somebody like him becoming a millionaire, just telling you to be aware of the now. And that's why Jesus also says to not be anxious for anything. And then so I kind of live like that. Like I'll have an event coming up, or even this show or my next concert or whatever the case is, or my next recording session, and I'll be looking forward to that a lot. And it'll always be on my mind. And in the midst of that, I'm forgetting to be in this moment, even when and it's usually in a place that I don't want to be, whether it's like working my job or something, like doing something for somebody else. Like I don't want to be there, so my mind and subconscious will be at my next concert, my next writing session. And so to take that, get out of that, and just be in the now, look at the trees, breathe the breath of life, and just to be conscious of everything, of your breath coming in. And that's where the beauty is, and that's where the healing is, to be present in the moment. And so I know that's not talking about the glitches stuff, but when talking about time, there's so much in that, to be anxious for nothing is to be in that moment. And then so,
Yeah, once you get, and I think you've experienced this, the more I talk to you, I think you really have, I call it an involuntary awakening that I had. Once you pop out of your body, which you kind of, maybe it wasn't a pop, but you understand that there is no such thing as time or space. Once you understand that and you come back, I think you can detect these glitches easier.
Yeah. Oh, it totally makes you more sensitive to that realm. And I talk about, opening the third eye and stuff like that. And a lot of people look at it as a like an exercise or a practice that happens, like awakening the Kundalini, which that's a little bit different. But opening the third eye, I think a lot of us have it opened as a child. We're born with this heightened sense of awareness, and it was not something that just opens up voluntarily. It's something that's kind of been open, and the more you see, the more you remember. And then so when I see things, and you learn, man. You learn how to respond to things, and that's how you're going to be used in the spirit realm, is by passing those little tests. When whenever you're in the grocery line, and you hear that voice tell you to pay for that person's groceries in front of you, and you don't do it because you only have a couple dollars and you want to buy a cheeseburger, and you don't do it, and you see that person check out and have to put food back, and I'm talking about canned goods and bananas and things, just a few things like $3-4 worth, and they have to put things back, and you let them go out the door without following the intuition, following that voice that told you to do that. And whenever you don't, man, it's like what they call in the Bible grieving the Holy Spirit. You grieved God and you missed the point, and that weight and that heaviness that you experienced there, man, you never want to experience that again. You never want to experience that again. And so you begin to follow those signs and you begin to learn. So next time you're in the line, and next time if you're given that opportunity and you hear that voice tell you to do it, and it's a positive thing, you're going to do it. You're going to say, forget me and forget what I want, and go ahead and do it. And the bliss and joy that comes from serving others, man, is amazing. It's a high in itself.
That's absolutely true. I'm glad I brought the cry towel over here. You made me cry. I was like, I'm not going to cry with TruthSeekah on here. And I was like, yeah, you got me crying.
It's
like a baby.
No, it makes, yeah, it's deep stuff, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
But you learn. You have to learn. Because if you don't learn, you're going to keep making the same test over and over. And it talks about, like, if you're faithful with the few things, if you're faithful with the small things, the $3, canned goods, if you're faithful with that, then I'll trust you with these greater things that are on the inside of you that I'm going to bring out. Because there's points in my life that I couldn't be trusted with great things or secrets or something like that. So you have to be proven in a sense. And it's a university, it's a school that we're all in, and there's teachers who are not on this plane of existence, but they're watching us and they come through and they communicate at times as well. So, yep.
I was going to give an example, but this has to do with like a whole lot of things. When you were talking a while ago, because I used to do a lot of singing, like in public with groups or individual like solos, and I remember a time because I would get up there and get so nervous, and then you know how your throat just kind of does that, and you just can't hit those high notes, and you're like it's awful, and when you get nervous, and I remember one time I got up there, I'm like, I don't give a crap what anybody thinks, and so I was like, there's nobody here but me, and I just sang my heart out, and then, after it scared the crap out of me, after I was over, when they like erupted in applause, because I forgot that other people were there with me, but that is absolutely living in the moment. If you're living in the moment, you're not thinking about, oops, if I miss a note, then after this is all over, they're going to get in a huddle, and they're going to talk about me missing that note. That's fear. And if you have no fear and just live in that moment, then you can overcome that fear.
Yeah. And there's a slang, and it's kind of used with, the rapper Drake kind of made it pretty famous. He says YOLO, and I'm not going to use that term, but YOLO, you only live once, and they do it about going out and partying and living life to the fullest and stuff like that. But in a sense, it is true. Like, you only get one shot at it. So we did karaoke for my birthday 2 weeks ago, and my daughter and her little friend wanted to do karaoke for the first time, but they were kind of scared. They were going to talk themselves out of it. I looked at them and said, YOLO, you only live once. She's like, I know. This is a little bitty girl. I know. So, she went up there and did it. It's like, go up there and do it the best that you can, because if you don't do it tomorrow, what's going to happen? You're going to think about it. You're going to regret it. I wish I would have did it, So go ahead and do it, and, build that confidence up and create memories,
And I don't know if this is even in your realm of what you even study or know about, but this is kind of interesting. There has been talk that the Anunnaki have returned, and that their ship can be mistaken for Venus. Is that the planet? There was a planet that I saw this morning in the sky. Is that Venus now?
Yeah, Venus. Yeah.
Yeah, it was up there. It was like, hello, Kelli.
Yeah, that's Lucifer. That's Lucifer.
Oh, there we go. It can be. Is that why I was talking to me?
It's a good thing, though. It's not the devil.
Okay, it can be
mistaken
for Venus. I would like to hear you guys' thoughts on that, please.
Yeah, the Anunnaki. It just depends on like your view of them and who you think they are or what they are. I think I see them as already. It just depends. Like, I don't know people's mindset. Like, if people think that they are the wicked rulers who are here already, I tend to believe that that's who they are. The wicked rulers here, the 13 bloodlines, what it talks about in the Bible, the serpent seed. The serpent seed that's going to rule over mankind and fight against the sons and daughters of God. So it talks about these people being here, the serpent in the Bible, and so which are the the ruling elite right now. And I think they have I don't think they have our best interest in mind. Honestly, I think that we are the blood for their machine, you know. And
Yeah, you think?
yeah, I know. So that kind of gives credibility to the work of, for me, Zachariah Sitchin with the Sumerian tablets, and saying that the Anunnaki created humankind to be a slave race, and that they were put here to mine gold for them, for their planet, and for the ships to be powered, and all this kind of stuff. And also with the work of David Icke, when he talks about the lizard people or whatever, that these are the ruling elite class. So I think that whoever is the bad guys are here right now, man, and that they are ruling over us right now. And we're in slavery, but at least we get to go home at night from our jobs and stuff, that we have to, work for these corporations and things like that. And they couldn't exist without our blood. They couldn't exist without of our energy. We are, in a sense, the mice that spins the wheel that conducts their electricity. So I think that those people are here, and I think that the ones who are coming on the outside, the ones who are making contact with us telepathically, that we're able to see through summoning UFOs, is what we call it, through trances and meditation, astral travel, like the beings, those guys are the good guys. They have our best interest in mind. Those are the angels of the Bible. Those are the angels and the good guys who, want our best interest in mind, and who want to reach out to us, and we can make contact with them. And I think that whenever they do come into our reality, when they do come into our reality physically on a ship, when they come into ships, that our government tries to fight them. There's a lot of video footage of a UFO getting close to the Earth, and the Earth sending forth some type of light beam, and then shooting a plasma beam and almost hitting this little craft, and then it'll turn around and go the other way and leave. So I feel like these people here don't have our best interest in mind. I think that they are evil people in charge, man, and the ones who have our best interest in mind, they're trying to communicate, they're trying to help, but there's this war going on. And it was even said by Edgar Cayce that the Battle of Armageddon will be fought in outer space. And looking at the work of Ed Grimsley going out and filming all types of aerial phenomena going on with these UFOs and things flying in fleets in outer space, he claims that he's seen them fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? Like shooting at each other and stuff like that, and
yeah,
exploding.
I've seen the videos. It's really exciting.
He's a character, but he's got some cool footage. He's got some compelling footage, and I think it takes a character to go out there and do what he's doing. But yeah, so it kind of ties in with the Battle of Armageddon and this fight of good and evil over the consciousness and souls of men. So I totally believe that there's something going on.
I think that people misunderstand slavery because in this country they only kind of think of one type of slavery, which was a long time ago, and they had the chains on them and forced to work and mistreated. But what most people don't know is there are two different kinds of slavery. The kind of slavery were the ones that, we don't use the word own, I guess, the ones that own this meat suit that you're in. The one type of slavery is where the ones that own you feed you, clothe you, and house you. And the other kind of slavery is the one where you feed and clothe and house yourself. Which one are you in? Yeah.
No, it's totally true, man. Like I said, at least they let us go home at night. They let us go do things that we want to do, at times. So, it's really, and I think it's kind of crazy because even in the Bible, I've seen this years ago, where it talks about the Israelites, making a pact with the Egyptian rulers and becoming friends with them. Joseph rose up and became friends with the pharaohs and stuff, and they began to dwell together and things. But it says that there came another Pharaoh. It says another Pharaoh came on the scene who knew not Joseph, so he didn't know about these pacts and these different covenants that they had together. And it said that they became slaves by simply increasing the workload, and that's kind of what we have going on now. So now, like you really have no choice but to work a 40-hour week in most homes. Like, you have to work a 40-hour week. Your family cannot exist off of part-time job and then using the other part to try to find your calling in life and do your art and things like that. Most of the time, I'm too tired at the end of the day to even do any type of music. I don't even want to hear about music. I just want to find a bed or something. And that's like last night. I worked so many hours and got home and crashed. And so there's that aspect. And then so as far as like it takes two people working in a household to fund that household now. Back in the day, it would just be the man who could work a full-time job, and the woman could stay home and keep the house straight and everything, have dinner when he comes home and everything's clean, and that was her thing. Like, the woman is the keeper of the home. That's her. She's like the priestess of that home, and she could keep it up and everything. So, but now it's to the point where both have to work unless they have a really, really good job, and we know that's not middle America or lower class America, and or you have to do without. So now they have to work, and so now you may come home after both spouses have been, working 8 to 10 hours, 12-hour days, and they come home and the house is dirty, and it's like, okay, who's going to do it? Like, I've been working all day. Well, I've been working all day, and I really don't feel like this, and then you got to do homework and all this kind of stuff, and then there's a television, then you don't want to do anything but get ready for the next work day, and this is by design. That didn't happen to keep you tired and keep you bound up like that by accident, and we chose that. Women's lib, was, they wanted to get out there and work too. Like, no, this is by design. It's to keep you working, to keep that fuel, keep you tired, and let you watch the football game. You know what I'm saying? And all this, which none of that's bad, but and then so we have people who are addicted to substance, they're coping with that. Some people aren't able to provide, so it brings in all of these other dilemmas that come up, and it's very tricky, man. But, when you're told as a kid that you could be anything you want to be when you grow up, and it's like, most people, like, I look at my bosses and things like that and my coworkers who are up there in age or whatever, and I'm like, I know when they was a kid, like, it wasn't their dream to be doing this. I look at this guy, I know it wasn't his dream to be a garbage truck driver or something like that, or to work at Pizza Hut at 45 years old, and not, he's getting a paycheck, but that paycheck isn't doing anything really, and I know that wasn't their dream. So I just encourage people not to give up on their dreams, man, to do what they can and to reach deep down and make it happen, man, because we like, the odds are against you, so we have to do this. Like, we're going up against a system that's bigger than ourselves, but I think that we can reach deep down and connect with this higher power, and it will empower us to enjoy this life, to live our best lives that we can to our full potential. And it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And I'm just repeating everything that's helped me and all the steps I've taken to really start seeing things happen and speaking certain things, and there's magic that happens when you do that. So there's a lot of things, a lot of tools that we have in the midst of this to not just sit back and just give up or whatever. Like, all of us can attain this, but it's gonna cost you something. You really have to pursue it. So in the midst of that, I try to. It's some really heavy stuff, man. We can go down the road.
Yeah.
And there's people that I've learned under who are into that, but they really don't give a way out. They've grown weary in well-doing, and one of those people is Jordan Maxwell, who I so look up to. He's a good friend of mine, but I've done podcasts with him where I refuse to air it.
Really?
Like, I can't air this, dude. And because it's just, it's like humanity is like it's not good. He's really given up, and he has a lot of people like myself and other researchers and people who look up to him, who've reached out to him. It's like, we believe in you, man. We believe in humanity, and you're doing a good job. And he's like, no, it's over, man. We're all screwed. There's nothing we can do at this point. But I don't believe that.
He's given up. I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm still fighting. I'm gonna have to die to get me to stop fighting.
Mm-hmm.
That reminded me. What we were just talking about reminded me of the teacher asking the kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it's like, okay, Johnny, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, well, I want to be happy. Yeah. Johnny gets sent to the office.
Yeah.
That's our society.
I remember, I'm going to say this because I was thinking about this the other day because it's been on my consciousness a lot lately. I was at Sunday school when I was real little, and they asked all the kids what they wanted to be when they grew up, and I remember telling them I was always going against the grain even as a kid. It's like, what do you want to be? And I want you to draw it. So they let us draw what we wanted to be, and I drew I was being funny but being serious at the same time. He said, what you want to be? I was like, I want to join the Mortal Kombat tournament when I grow up.
Oh, I love it.
The video game Mortal Kombat. And I was, excited to tell them what I wanted to be. And then so they let everybody do it, and then she's like, you know what, I'm disappointed because none of you guys got it right. None of you guys said that you wanted to be a preacher. It's like we got it wrong or whatever, like what we wanted to be. It's like, man, yeah. Even as a little kid, I remember that at church.
Religion, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I still remember that. That had to have some bearing, man, because I still remember that.
Those Sunday school teachers screw you up. I remember the Sunday school teacher that I was like, I just lost a dog. Yeah. My best friend died. And then she told me when I went to church, the Sunday school teacher, that I'm so sorry, Kelly, but your dog is not going to go to heaven.
Yeah.
That was awful. I mean, you cannot even imagine how terrible that was for a little kid, telling them that their dog is not going to be there in heaven with them. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember there was one story, and this scared the hell out of me, and I guess that's what the story was designed to do, to scare the hell out of me, and it worked. But they told me about, because I listened to a lot of my brother's music. He was into Metallica, Megadeth, things like that, Slayer. And I was really young. I'm talking about, 6, 7 years old or whatever, going to Sunday school, and these Christian people told me, they were like, yeah, I want you to tell them a story about the teenagers who were, mocking God and mocking the church. So they told me this story, and the story, at the time I believed that I was a kid, but the story was about these teenagers who were listening to heavy metal in a van, and they were listening to AC/DC, Highway to Hell. And they were driving back and forth in front of a church. I love that
song, by the way.
And they were mocking the church and mocking the preacher, and the preacher was yelling at him and cursing him out with the song blaring, and they had it blaring on a little boom box, a little tape player. They had it hanging out the window, Highway to Hell. And they were going down it, and as they were going around, they went down a hill, and the brakes went out on the vehicle, and the van slammed into a tree, and they all died. And one of them had the tape player stuck through their stomach with Highway to Hell on repeat. And they told me that story as a kid, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do that. And they're like, watch out for Metallica, watch out for these guys, blah blah blah. And I was like, man, so it's always that dilemma there. Even to listen to it was like, I won't listen to that song Highway to Hell to this day. I will not listen to it. It can't be symbolic to me or anything. Like, I will not listen to it. I'm a truck driver for a living, and I've heard it come on in the morning while I'm, getting my truck ready at work, and it comes on. I'm like, I'm changing that, man. I'm not starting my day finna go drive on the highway to that song. So you can see, man, just like the religious programming, even at a young age, can, still play with you.
Absolutely. Whenever my husband's sitting over there, whenever that comes on the radio, my husband is not a singer. No, insulting him, but he is not a singer. But he will go, Highway to Hell, and just sing it at the top of his lungs. And I'm like, yeah, I roll down the windows, and it's like, you can't take that literally.
I will tell you something crazy though. I did, like, when I was in my rebellious state, I actually did do that. I went to church, and they kicked us out of church because we were mocking people and stuff like that. So we went and got in the car, me and all my goth friends or whatever, and we turned it on The Beautiful People, and we turned it up as loud as it would go, and we were driving around the church while they were in there, doing their thing or whatever, and the pastor ran out yelling, shaking his fist, "Don't you ever come back here! Don't you ever come back!" So it's kind of crazy that, the whole mocking church thing ended up even.
It's like, what, you don't want to save me now? It's okay if I go to hell now?
It's like, don't come back. No, they're running a business. Come on, I was a threat to that business.
You are right.
I was interrupting business, so no.
Yes, you were interrupting business, just like the government in business. And you talked about Women's Lib. Women's Lib was created by the government, funded by the government, and led by the government because there's 50% of the population, let's say men, I'm overgeneralizing, but 50% of the population was paying income tax. They wanted more money. So how do you get the rest of the women who are staying at home raising the children properly? How do you get them to earn you money.
Yeah.
Start a movement where they're like, wait a minute, I want to work. When they were like, I was just fine where I was. My family was happy, you know. But now, oh yes, equality for women. I'm going to go work, and they got suckered into.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. Like, if women want to work, that's fine. I think it's up to them, like, individually. They should have the same rights and be able to do it. But it gets into, which I think is ridiculous, and I've got friends who did it who had really good jobs, and then so my wife, when we had our kid, like, she quit work, and I gave her, I said, do it. We'll do without. I want you to raise our daughter, at least for the first couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like sending them to, to daycare. And then I had friends who made more money than we did, and they were like, I kind of envy you. I wish we could do that. It was like, you can't go out to eat every night. You can't have those amazing shoes or whatever. You can't get your hair done every week. Like, you're gonna have to make sacrifices or whatever. Like, you guys can do it, because you're paying money to send them to daycare anywhere, and have people raise your infant or whatever. And the first couple years of your kid's life is the most influential, that makes them who they are for the rest of their life. And so, I really took strongly to that, and that's what we did. And a lot of people can't do that. I understand that at this point, but if you can, totally do that, man.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, we're running out of time. Oh my goodness. Is there anything that you want to add that we did not cover about either psychedelic spirituality or awakening before we have to say goodbye to you?
I would say it's all in my music. I'm putting all of these experiences and more in my music, and I try to be as honest and metaphorical about it. And I've got a lot of big plans with a lot of things, a lot of doors opening up, and some things going on. So check out my website. All of it's in there. Like I said, I do offer dream interpretation and healing sessions as well through the website. And it's TruthSeekah.com, Truth SEEKAH.com, and all of the past interviews with Kelli are on there or archived on Kelly's site. All of the good stuff. Each one is loaded with information, and so if you like this one, you'll most likely like that one, and you'll be able to see the progression that Kelly's talking about, because it's totally new levels. And even, we've been doing this every month, and I'm sure next month it's going to be even deeper. So thanks for having me back on, and thanks for everybody requesting me back on. As long as you keep telling her that you want me back on, she'll keep having me back, no doubt.
Oh, yes, we will, because I do want you back on. This is so exciting, and I didn't even think about that. To watch, go back and watch the videos if you've missed any of them, and you can tell a difference. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on the show. And you guys, if you want him back on, let us know in the comments, and we will definitely get him back on and scheduled to be on here again. So you can get your questions ready for the next time that TruthSeekah comes on here. So thank you so much, and thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for all your wonderful questions. Oh my gosh, then we've got like about 20 questions over there that right when we were getting off and run out of time. So I know you guys want to know more from TruthSeekah. So I'm seeing that we do need to have you on, but still let us know if you want to. Give him a thumbs up. Give him a thumbs up if you liked this interview. And we'll see how it goes. So anyway, guys, thank you so much, and I guess we will see you on the next video. Bye.